Okay, this is Christina Drexler. This is May 7th, 2009. Christina, when I look at what you're doing here, a couple of things stand out. The first is look how low your hips are. And what we need to do is try to get your hips up a little bit by stretching forward. The second thing is how wide your hands are. As you set your hands in the water, the first thing we want to do is we want to set them in just outside of our shoulder and then pull with our hands so that our elbow gets up and we're pulling ourselves forward. What you're doing is you're kind of bouncing a little bit. And you're doing it because what's happening is as you're swimming, you're pushing down on the water instead of pulling yourself forward. If we can get those elbows up a little bit more, think about that front skull that we do, the hands out front, where the elbow is above the wrist and the wrist is above the fingertips. That's what we're looking for. I think your kick looks pretty good. Head position is okay. You're a little late getting your head down as your hands go into the water. You can kind of see that here. See how your head is always just kind of staying up in the air. You want to make sure that when that head comes down, there are no wrinkles in the back of your neck. That's what we're looking for. Okay, into the backstroke. Pretty good on the dolphin kicking. Could stand to do a few more, maybe 5 or 6 off every wall. I like the depth of your hands, but see as you're pulling here, you're turning your thumb forward. What we want to do is we want to keep that hand perpendicular to the bottom of the pool so that when you pull the water through, it should look like your thumb is directly over your pinky. As you watch here, your thumb is actually, it's leading your pinky right there. It's like you're trying to push the water down instead of pushing the water back. We want to change that and try to make sure that we're pushing the water back, not down. Now, as we look at it over the water here, doing a pretty good job of keeping your head still. I think your head position is okay, rocking a little bit, but look at what's going on here with your hands as your arms come over the water. We don't have a lot of rotation. I can tell that because as the top of your arm comes over the water as it passes your head, look at all the splash that you get. What we're looking to do is to make sure that when we bring that hand over, we don't want to be dragging any water with us. We want to rotate a little bit more and get that head of the shoulder up out of the water. Try to get your hips up a little bit more, and I think we've got something a little bit better. But the biggest thing is, instead of leading with your thumb, press with the whole of your palm and push the water back. Okay, into the breaststroke. Maybe a little deep on that pull out. Look at your hands here, how you're shooting them down. We want to throw the hands forward and let the head fall down. And if you can do that, it'll line up your body and you'll be kicking through a streamline a lot better. Right now, as you're throwing your hands so deep, your head really is always looking forward. We want to change that so as you extend forward, as your hands go forward, your body lines up. If you look, you can see how your back is always kind of curved. We want to flatten that out with your head down, so again, there's no wrinkles in your neck, so you can have a nice flat back as you kick through this. Now, we take a look at this here. It almost looks like your weight is set on your hips. We want to shift your center of gravity forward so that as you throw your hands forward, your hips rise. I should almost see your butt popping out of the water a little bit and your head down versus right now head up and no butt at all. And that way I'll know that your body's lined up. So we got to make sure that as you throw those hands forward, get that head down. A little smoother here. We're getting into a little bit better groove. But still that head's got to come down more and you need to look down, not forward. And that'll make it a lot easier. Okay, into the freestyle. This is a lot like the butterfly because if you look, you swim with a real straight arm. And, you know, you've got such an advantage with your physique. What we want to do is try to get those shoulders up, or excuse me, those elbows up so you can grab the water with your forearm versus just throwing it down and kind of swinging it wide. The other thing is I think you're pulling pretty wide with your hands. If you look, your hands really aren't going down the center line of your body. What we want to do is we want to drop that hand in front of the shoulder and then have it go underneath your body somewhere in between your head and that shoulder. Call that kind of a power lane. If your hands are too wide, you don't really develop a lot of power. I mean, I think this looks pretty good over the water, particularly your right arm, doing a real nice job of setting it in. It's just that when you set your hands in, you tend to push your hand down as opposed to pulling the water back from your fingertips to your elbow and then keeping your hand underneath your elbow as long as you can. We just want to make sure we're not dropping the elbow. Nice job.